This is the third project. This is going to be the creation of a color wheel in color pencil. It's actually in two parts, though the final assignment will be at the tail end of this. So let's get started, okay? So to begin with, this demo shows the techniques that I want you to employ over the next 5 to 6 assignments. And again, the final assignment will be at the end of this presentation. So to begin with, what I want you to do is to gather up your Crescent 99.3 board and your colored pencils and then get ready. But the first thing that you need to do is you need to be able to cut out your board. The board itself measures 10.5 inches tall by 8.25 inches wide. You should be able to cut this from the larger board and save your scrap because you're going to be cutting it essentially in half. And save the other part because you'll need it for the second half of this assignment, if not for the subsequent assignments coming up in color in paint. So hold on to everything that you cut away. So to find the center of the board, what you need to do is take a straight edge. You can either use a triangle or a ruler and lightly draw a line from one corner of your board to the other and do it in both directions. When you find the center will be where the two lines intersect in the middle. Now what I want you to do is using your compass, we're going to strike two arcs or circles using the same center point. So the first line out is going to be at 3 5/8 inches. So you'll draw a fairly dark line. Don't draw it terribly dark, but draw it dark enough. And then what I want you to do is to draw a second arc, and this one's going to be on the inside, and that's going to be at 2 3/8 of an inch. Now when you've got both of those done, what I want you to do is to mask the entire board with the green masking tape. This masking tape has a very low tack. It means that it won't pick up the surface of the crescent board when you go to peel it off when you're all done and not damage it. There's another technique that you might want to employ while you're trying this, and that is to take the green masking tape and apply it to your clothing. If you've got cloth clothing, something with a lot of cotton in it, it will help pick up the lint, and this will make the tape even less tacky. And that's really kind of what you want to do, is because you don't want to lift the surface of the board. Now, using an X-Acto knife, I want you to carefully cut out both the inner and outer circle from the masking tape, and then lift the masking tape back out. This is the area that you're going to actually apply the color wheel to, and it's going to be very important because all of these will look the same when they're done. That is, their overall proportions will be the same, but the materials that you're going to be applying to the board are going to be different. This first one's going to be colored pencil, obviously. So at this point you should have something that looks strikingly like this, and if you've got your color pencils at the ready, you can see mine down there in the lower right hand corner. You can get started. So beginning at the 12 o'clock position, which is like straight up on the clock, start off with your red and lightly begin shading it into the portion of the illustration board that's exposed between the masking tape. At the 8 o'clock position, I want you to apply the color blue, and at the 4 o'clock position you will be putting in yellow. Now you can see on mine here, you can see the red and the blue, and I'm putting the yellow on right now. Then what I want you to do is kind of spread your colors out towards each other, the yellow towards the blue and towards the red towards the yellow and the blue, and then the blue towards the red and the yellow. And in between, what I want you to do, if you can, using the colored pencils themselves, actually create the other colors, that is orange, purple, and green. If not, use the colored pencils themselves, and you'll end up with something that looks strikingly like this. Now notice how messy this color wheel would be if we didn't have the masking tape to keep it from wherever you've gone beyond the edge of the circle, what it would look like. So it's going to be the same thing that's going to happen with the paint as well. That's why we mask it off to begin with, so that you end up with a nice, neat color wheel. After you're all done with everything, I want you to peel the tape off, and you should have something that looks like this. All of the extra color that came off the pencil onto the masking tape should be able to be lifted off. And when you're all done, I want you to begin labeling your color wheel so that it looks like this. This is what the final project will look like. Notice that I've put the name of the color wheel 1, up in the upper left-hand corner, and that the fact that I use Prismacolors. Please note whatever pencils that you use. They don't have to be Prismacolor. They can be Crayola. They can be anything, but just make sure that you label whatever brand of color pencil that you happen to use. Now here's the final assignment that I want to have you take note of. The first assignment is to complete the color wheel, just like I've just shown you in the demo. That's part 1. Part 2 is to complete a second color wheel using the very same techniques that you use to apply the color pencil, but this time I want you to use watercolor pencil, and then use water to blend the colors. It's recommended that you perhaps leave the masking tape on while you're blending with the color, with the water, and be very careful not to apply a whole lot of water. You can probably use a Q-tip if you want to blend the colors back and forth, but don't get it too terribly wet, because you don't want the water running out underneath the masking tape. Okay, so that is the third projects, part 1 and 2, and go ahead and carry on with that, and we'll have another one of these in a week or so. That next one is going to be on acrylic paint. Okay, that's it.